Hello, fellow toolboxers. Welcome to episode 290 of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox. I just got back from the AILA conference and I'm so hyped up. I decided, hey, let me do this episode I've been wanting to do for 4 months now, which is what I had said 6 months ago, that I'm going to keep you updated on the business developments of my firm and the marketing plan that I had every 3 months, now 6 months, and how I'm doing it to develop the firm. So we're going to go over a lot of the stuff, successes, failures, what I learned. And at the conference, I talk with my focus a lot is on business development and operations now. So I talk to a lot of colleagues on that. I'm going to have people on the show, various founders who develop firms, to come and talk about their development and things they use and think about. So there's going to be a lot of talk about that. That I think is going to be very helpful to colleagues. Now, before we start, want to thank you for listening. I'll remind you, you leave a review wherever you're listening to this, like 5 stars. Just put 5 stars or leave a review to help support the program. If you haven't checked out the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine, issue 7 is out. Just go to iltbox.com and look up the magazine tab. You'll see it there. Actually, it was at the conference I looked. I think the website has a problem. It might not have been there. I'll fix that. If not, I'm checking right now as recording. But yeah, the magazine's a lot of fun. Okay, so for some reason, the magazine link isn't there at the top. But by the time you hear this, it'll be there. I do want to thank the sponsor one of the sponsors for the magazine and the current series of the podcast, which is DocWise.com, an all-in-one form software. They're a sponsor of the AILA convention as well. DocWise is a software that's a lot of you are already using, but it's a good all-in-one service that not only handles the forms, but also handles a lot of office management, payment, time scheduling, tracking, all that kind of stuff. Very robust system. And so that's something that you should definitely check out and test out when you're making the decision to choose the right software for your firm. Having said that, let's get the show started. It's going to be one of those free flow things I'm going to be thinking about. I had to keep wanting to prep stuff and have more preparation. But I think I've done enough to be able to talk about this. So 6 months ago, when I wrote my business plan for this year, the goal was to constantly revisit it and do all this business stuff I've read and heard about. And I have been doing it internally. And I did it for the first 3 months, but it was very time consuming. But in my mind, it's constantly repeating itself of how to develop the business. So the three areas focus are: one is, casework, the technical aspect of what we do. Secondly, marketing and in no particular order. And third is operations of the company. So when it comes to casework, my goal is to do zero casework, have zero G28s out. But inevitably, I get sucked back in. And that's the biggest problem because, as they say, I'm working in the business instead of on the business. But I was able to work a lot on the business this year, 6 months. And it was really groundbreaking because looking at it from the outside instead of just getting caught up in the stuff in the inside, there's so many places I saw that had problems that could be made better. So really just breaking down from when the client hears about us, all the way to processing the case, all the way to the case is done and stuff. Every step of the way, there's 6 or 7 steps that touches that a client has until they're done. There's ways to make it better. And that's what the focus is constantly on what I'm doing. We'll talk about what we're doing here. So, for example, I should probably start from the beginning of when a person, contacts us. And so my goal, my business plan I talked about was to double the amount of marketing that I'm doing so we could double business up. But I quickly hit a wall in that, I got small kids and baby that was asleep. So I was just too exhausted to do the marketing, and which is a lot of videos, a lot of writing, all that kind of stuff. So I wasn't able to do it. It was very frustrating the first couple of months because I set these ambitious goals and I wasn't getting there and the firm wasn't growing like I wanted to. So it started getting very frustrating. But the good way to look at things, and I think I'm listening to this one podcast, they were saying Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, whenever you came to him with a hard problem, he'd get really excited because like, oh, if it's a problem, if we figure out a solution, it's going to be very beneficial for the company. We're going to grow. And so he likes having problems because our job as business people are to solve problems. So I was looking at it, I'm like, well, I want to double the firm up and have more success there. The game plan I had, for the last 5 or 6 years is do so much marketing that I get so many leads that, inevitably I'm going to get the perfect client that wants to pay and stuff. And that's that. But then when I started looking at it, there were all these leads I was getting from phone calls to emails where they wouldn't schedule a meeting. And I'm like, instead of like doubling up the number of videos I do, which I'm having a hard time doing right now, why don't I just, step one being marketing, instead of increasing marketing per se. And I did some tweaks on marketing. I'll talk about in a second. But how about step two on sales, converting them to consultations and or clients? What if I double that part? Because I get a lot of leads. So if I just, convert more of them, I'll double up the firm without having to do as much marketing. So then I got deep into it of redoing the responses that we give to clients, trying out different systems of free consultations, short consultations, meetings with non-lawyers to do initial recap to see if it's kind of case we handle, all these different ways of taking in that lead and trying to convert it. And so we're inputting certain stuff that seems like it's happening. And another thing that happens, the more consultations that we do a detailed consultation follow-up emails, which take a long time, as well as once a person signs up, we had a system where you send a contract. We create a Dropbox folder where they could send documents in. And all this would create a lot of time consuming stuff to make us less inclined to just do a lot of consultation at lower prices. It just makes us more busier. And so one is we worked on better conversion. That's when someone contacts us to kind of get them in faster, to actually want to hire us and to follow up with them. So there's all these different little technical things that we do to just clean up the system. And so we're instituted that to see how it's going to work. And then after that, it's like I thought like it's taking a lot of time. So like a lawyer on the firm, for example, is doing this stuff. Then, well, how do we get other team members involved? Have them then now come in on consultation so they could do initial email response prep email instead of having the lawyer write it, and the lawyer then reviews it and like checks it out and fixes it. And then with regard to contracts, we essentially had a template contract that we would type up, but now I have it, and then we send it for e-signing. But now I have it where just the contract is already uploaded to the website for e-signing, and there's a box that we just fill in certain notes that go specifically to that case, instead of just trying to update point number 4 and point number 8 in the form and stuff like that, which should say time consuming. We just have a box like at the end essentially that says, price and any notes that we need to make this contract unique, and that saves a lot of time. And then so there's a lot of tweaking we did again there on the sales aspect, on the client communication afterwards once the client's closed, to it's just kind of getting ahead of ourselves. So sorry, this is where prep comes in. But so 3 ideas of marketing, operations, and technical stuff that we're fine tuning the company on. So for marketing, I'm going to talk about that, but I was held back. So I fixed up the sales process of it. And then secondly, this process of having team members get involved and stuff that goes more into operations. But that was a switch that we did too there, which is getting involved non-lawyer team members in that, and also using technology to streamline it, which saves, per consultation, probably 20 minutes, and it's 20, 30 minutes maybe. And it's not only that, like having to stop and write these emails, it takes a lot of brain power. And even creating the contract and stuff, it was like, even uploading a PDF of a contract to e-signing system would take, like 20 seconds. We had to pause and wait for that to happen, maybe 15 seconds. But all these were stops that kept the momentum from going forward. But now that I was like looking at the whole thing of the firm, like, well, we do this for like 5 years. Like this is a better way to do this. So we took that out and we have to streamline it there. So the next step is like, okay, so now that we have the client do the cases, we are taking more advantage of using the form software in a better way, and as well as the online filing for USCIS. But one thing that happened is I realized we had too much, assistance when it comes to, law clerk, paralegal, those kind of positions, where there wasn't enough caseload to go around and keep them busy all the time. And there were long gaps that would happen. And to me, that lose morale would go down. If you're working on something, then you have to wait for new work for a day or two, nothing happens. That like makes you like not really into it. And also, if you're learning something, then you have to pause and nothing's happening. It kind of ruins the momentum of learning. So by cutting down on team members and having the existing ones work more and consistently on cases, it was a big deal. And then the training that goes along with that. So there's less people. So when I would review a case before, like that was done by a team member, a non-lawyer team member, I made it my goal to ideally within 24 hours review the work and give them feedback, so they'll know what feedback I give connects with the work they just did, so they remember it better, instead of waiting like a week or two, or before we had more employees, let me get down the line to that person to review their work. But instead, that same person's doing it, and I'm continuously working with that one person. So the speed of training speeds up dramatically in that kind of case. And so that was a really important aspect of it. That was a big change when it comes to operations slash technical operations. Operations being back end business, but also like working on cases. So these were the two big things that really were the goal. So fixing up the sales program and then getting the team members involved, and particularly with training them, were a big deal in making this bigger, because the goal is to have a thing that operates on itself. And the value I bring on it is I have this machine, this car essentially that's running, and if I want to sell it, I could sell it as a product, and someone else could just take it and it works on its own. And so it doesn't need me to be in there to do it. However, I'm still there and I'm engaged in it. And my goal then is, once this thing's operating, constantly tweak and add value in different ways to expand it and make this, machine bigger and bigger. So it's more productive and more efficient. But on its own, it's functioning. And now with this better training that we have, and creating sales systems that are better to get somebody and keep them in the system, these were big deals to do. Keeping track of all the leads that come in and how we're converting them and where they're coming from. And even the ones that don't book consultation, maybe following up, giving away certain like free group consultations, seminars, all these things are things that have been good. Now, one issue that popped up is we got a lot of bad RFEs, in the sense that like we're correct, but USCIS was just hassling us, and they created a complete time suck. And so there's the issue of charging for RFEs, even if like telling the client it wasn't our fault, the government's being a mess and we got to do it, and setting the tone beforehand, especially like on affiliate supports, all that kind of stuff. And so our time does get wasted on these RFEs. So that's a very important part of handling. That was a big issue that's popped up that we're focused on. And then so the next thing I want to talk about is the marketing. And so my goal was to do a lot of long form, 10-minute, 15-minute videos like weekly on YouTube, but it became really hard to do. And then constantly I want to do like a million short videos. But what I ended up doing recently is getting my wife involved, actually, and having her record me on short video clips for TikTok, Reels, and YouTube. That way, like when I don't feel like it, she'll say, "Hey, get up and let's record," and we'll go out and she'll hold the camera in front of me, record. And so that was, someone holding me accountable to do it, which is really great. And those videos are popping off. They're immediately started getting leads from those new video sets that I started doing. So that was really good. So and what we ended up doing is I had to let go of a long form video editor that we have. We have two. We let go of one of them because we dramatically cut down on long form video. This person just kind of sitting there not doing anything. So it was like a overhead that we didn't need. And so just focusing on short form. And the long form, we have an editor, but if you don't use the editor, we just kind of record it and put it up just so it's there. But a hyper focus on short form, because that's where the social apps are competing right now. And that's what they like the most. And it gets the easiest, fastest attention. It's less work. It's really just learning the art of how to do a short video to keep people engaged in the format of that. And the more you do it, the more you study and watch. If you want to study it, just on TikTok, for example, there's a lot of gurus that talk about it. Just like I talk about stuff here for free that you learn. That's on TikTok and all these apps. So you just got to watch it and download their guides or something like that, and you'll figure it out. So that's what's been happening for the business. When it comes to financial stuff, there's a slight plateauing towards growth. And I was hoping to double up the firm by now, but the first couple of months I wasn't doing the marketing, and so that kept us in place. And I didn't institute the sales stuff until I finally realized, okay, be honest with myself, I'm not doing the marketing, so I got to figure out other ways to do it. So then it went down to the sales stuff and to get these clients, and it's starting to show. And then it's operations, using better use of team members, but also cutting expenses that weren't there. So we weren't editing long form video, but we had a long form editor. We had too many paralegal staff. So okay, that was a huge cost save right there. I went into different software that we have. One of them had doubled the price without telling us, and we're just getting billed, and I wasn't paying attention. But now I went through, I'm like, oh, you jerks, like you didn't notify us that you doubled the price on us without telling us. So I canceled that software. Well, we had like 10 like 8 accounts with them. I cut it down to 3, so only like the key members who need it were using it now. So that saved money. I got rid of one software where there was redundancy, where another one of my softwares had the tool that they would give, not as like, it's not like the 5 stars, like 4 stars. It's not as good as the other one, but like for saving a star, but saving like $600 a year, it was like easy. Okay, let's do it. Now $600, that's like a consultation or two, so it's not that big a deal. But every penny counts in this kind of stuff. And when you want to run an efficient business, it's not about like that you're penny pinching, but it's like you're on top of your business. You know where everything is going. That's the main thing. And frankly, every $600 I save there, that's an additional flight I could do for bringing a team member to like AL conference, for example. So it all makes up for itself in different ways. And so that's what's been happening when it comes to the recap of the business. One thing I want to get to do more is write out this. I was hoping to write this out so I have a better idea before recording this. But this morning I woke up and had the energy and I said, let's get the podcast out because I know I've been not producing as much recently. But is to like I got this from Warren Buffett and Amazon guy Jeff Bezos. They have to write shareholder letters every year, and so it's like why not do it quarterly? Where I write out the marketing, operation, and technical plans that we have, the where we're coming from, what issues we have, what plans we have to grow it, and by writing it out, it really forces me to think things out loud, if you will. And also having this conversation, constantly talking about it, so we can really spell down what's going on and what direction we're going. I'm reading a lot of books about developing the vision of the company and stuff. So that's been on my mind a lot. But I got caught up in a lot of cases. For example, we had a lot of marriage adjustment cases or marriage green card cases 2 years ago. So all of a sudden we got a bunch of I-75 loans, which was good financially. But these are clients that I've already worked with myself. So I'm going to continue working with them. But it also hit me with like, oh, I got, client interaction, which I'm trying to avoid. But these were my clients that have a relationship with me. They want to work with me. So I'll do this, but hopefully future ones will be going to team members to do it. But yeah, take myself out of cases so I can focus on all this kind of stuff to develop this machine, see where our weak points are, strengthen them, and really focus on pushing our strong points so that, whether I disappear for 3 months or not, it's going to still operate as it is. And my focus is on bringing my talents and my, vision to get this going and make the life better for our team members and for our clients. So that's the direction it's going. And with regard to the toolbox itself, outside my law firm, we have a operations person we're working with right now. She'll be on the show to see how that works. That help make things smoother. Redoing the marriage green card course that we have. The marriage green card course is wonderful. Has so many relationships we developed from people who are getting to immigration law. If people are already immigration lawyers who wanted to deepen their knowledge of the marriage immigration process, consular processing, adjustment of status, all that kind of stuff. So I'm redoing the course to update it and to make it into like better segments so we could just make it easier, more digestible. And we're going to be hearing a lot about that and just cleaning stuff up. I have a newsletter for like both JK Law and ILT Toolbox that aren't really getting out because I don't have time to do it. Now the operations person is helping with a newsletter for the Toolbox, and she'll be getting it if you're an immigration lawyer. If you're not an immigration lawyer but in the field, you could send me an email. I can add you to the list as well to get our hopefully regular newsletter. But then instituting that with JK Law, my law firm, and the like. So a lot of it is, getting stuff, seeing who could do the work that needs to be done and giving it to them to do. So then I can focus deeper on fine tuning it, seeing where the errors are, testing it out. And just like, for example, where I talked about our email responses to a lead, I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, this can be made much better because immediately, essentially, before I would just say, here's a link for a consultation, pay me. And then, oh, here, by the way, here's some information, some videos and some PDFs we have that could answer your questions in case you don't want to hire. And I thought, well, you know what? Because I was reading a book, it said, start out with giving people stuff instead of just asking. So I just moved that from the bottom of my email where I say, here's our PDF or guide or information. And I put at the beginning to say, listen, here's all the information that's going to help you. And then I've gone into, well, if you want to pay for consultation, I think that small tweak could give a better perception of our firm. And there's a lot of things I want to do like that. And one thing, frankly, I'm going to do is I'm going to institute a secret shopper program. I'm going to be emailing a bunch of law firms and seeing what they do and let them know, hey, we did this, but here's like some tweaks you could do. But from their responses, learn too, to get a better vision of what's going on in the field and when it comes to these kind of responses. So that's something that's going to be fun to do, to test out and just learn to make these responses better and then make a course out of it or something. So y'all could do it too. Because I think we're all getting a lot of leads and we're kind of just, it's money that's just falling out of your pocket potentially. So what's a better way to respond to capture these leads so that you're already doing the marketing, you're already doing the hard work of getting the person to contact you. Why not keep more? And there's always systems of following up more. We can set up all that kind of stuff, which is down the line. But instead of like trying all this new stuff, like, okay, now we're going to pay for ads and now we're going to start using Pinterest or stuff like that, which I want to do all these things. Why not just fine tune the stuff we have? I already have videos that are getting people to contact me. How about I try to capture more of those leads? Then once they're captured, How about I have a better system internally to process these cases without me getting completely involved with stuff I don't need to get involved in, so that they get done smoother and faster primarily because I'm busy. But when something happens on a case, it might take me an extra day to find time to get and review it. But if a team member could, download the PDF that the client emailed us, or they gave us a correct address where they give an incorrect one before, they could input it in the I-130 without me doing it. That's faster for the client and more efficient for them the way to me to do it. I don't have that much value putting information from an email there. But before I was doing that, why not now CC those team members and have them get it as well and do it the job for me? It's better for everybody that way. So, I mean, it's not complicated. And a lot of you are like, what is John talking about? This is like obvious. But we're not doing that. I was like just directly doing everything myself. And so these are things you look at like, well, that's a better way to do it. And I can rely on these team members. And the next step of all this is just having A+ players only on the team. If you ain't A+, you ain't gonna be here. Because if we have 5 A+ people, that's the same as having a firm of like, Bs, 20 people of Bs. It's that crazy a difference. Maybe even 30 people that are Bs. And if it comes to C players, which we've had, that's like 50 C players. That would complete waste of time and money. So the recruiting becomes a big important part. But these are the things that are happening, and by the end of the year, I want to really focus on that. So increase conversions, and institute a new marketing system I have, and just work on the systems that we already have when it comes to marketing and sales to make them better, as well as just working with team members to make them more better and get them more involved in what we're doing before I fully go into doing regular seminars and I said paid ads and all these kind of different things that we could do in Pinterest or all these that kind of stuff. Just focus on what is working already and make that better. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for listening. I do have a session I've created for people who are solo and small who want to kind of get to where I'm going, where you have a group, a mentor meeting and stuff. If you want to know more information about that, please hit me up. But I think I'm going to run an ad in a second that you're going to hear about it. All right, everybody. Until next one. God bless. Bye-bye.
Have you ever felt that the road to establishing a successful immigration law firm is riddled with unexpected obstacles and setbacks? I've been there, and I'm here to tell you, you are not alone. Picture this. My wife, then girlfriend, and I had just landed for a vacation only to be greeted by a voicemail that changed everything. In an instant, once the plane landed, she lost her job. The very one job that was supposed to support us while I launched my own solo immigration law firm. Suddenly, our financial cushion vanished, and I was thrust into the high-stakes world of entrepreneurship with no safety net. Despite a slow start and a discouraging lack of leads and referrals, I remained determined to build a law firm that provided a 5-star client experience. After countless hours spent researching, watching, and implementing marketing strategies with mixed results, I eventually began to see my firm's revenues not only surpass my previous revenue and salary as an associate, but double it. Today, I run a successful law firm with a team of associates and support staff, and I'm the proud founder of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine, podcasts, courses, workshops, and more. But my journey wasn't easy. I made many mistakes, wasted time and money, and wished I had a mentor to guide me through the challenges. Although I was fortunate enough to find a few peers who offered support, I couldn't shake the feeling that there had to be a better way. That's why I decided to be the change I'd wish I'd seen. This month, I'm thrilled to announce the launch of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox private mentorship and peer group. This exclusive group is designed to bring solo and small firm practitioners in a monthly, private, and intimate setting to openly discuss business strategies, share successes, exchange invaluable tactics that they wouldn't share anywhere else. By joining this premium group, you'll not only benefit from my hard-earned expertise, but also forging long-lasting relationships with like-minded professionals who are committed to elevating their practices. Space is limited for this game-changing opportunity. If you're ready to make a real, lasting impact on your business, simply email me at info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. Again, that's info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. And I'll send you all the information you need to get started. Don't miss this chance to transform your immigration law firm and reach new heights of success.